What's up, everybody? So, GW revealed a bunch of 40k stuff for us. And you can, of course, check out that posting yourself. I'm not going to just read it to you. It's kind of boring to do as a video for me and for you. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on some specific takeaways of what they announced. Not so much Black Library stuff, but new website, new edition, pretty big bombshell, new Primaris Assault Intercessor kit, and potentially more Primaris stuff to come, as we've seen from pictures and whatnot. New Necron stuff, and new edition, which new logo to come with that edition. These are big drops, and I'm sure there's a lot of different thoughts from yourself and myself. Obviously, everybody's going to be thinking and having an opinion on this, and that's fantastic. So I just want to give my thoughts here, and of course, share your thoughts in the comment section below. It might go a little long-winded. I don't want to have to curb my thoughts for such big reveals. So, first and foremost, new logo. Yes, new logo. I'm not going to go too deep into this down the rabbit hole, but a logo is a big thing to change. It's a big deal to have a new logo for something, anything, any product. Car company, condiments for food, computer, whatever it is that has had an established logo for a period of time, it's a big deal to all of a sudden have it change. It usually reflects a change in philosophy and thought or direction, or in some capacity trying to rebrand and reimagine. Whatever the case is, for this edition, they felt it warranted a logo change. So that's definitely neat and interesting. Speaking of new edition, they have a Q&A little PDF you can download and read, which has got, I'm sure it was their preemptive strike at FAQs for the new edition to kind of help alleviate people's thoughts and perhaps fears, whatever. And I'm not going to go over all of them, but there are a few that I want to make mention of that they do say. So, will there be new models? They say yes, so many cool new models. Necrons in particular are in for a good year. So that's a key takeaway once they get to the Necron portion of stuff. So that's only the start, they say. Now, I'm sure it's not literally a year's worth of time releasing models, but they're saying this year is probably going to be a good year of the Necron, which is awesome. They also make mention of, are there still non-Primaris Space Marines? Yes, they're right where you left them, and you can use them in the game just as you can today. So they're not just ditching non-Primaris Astartes, although we do know that there's going to be a tipping point when they start tipping off models. It's just going to happen. So that's not the point of this ramble. Let's not get bogged down on that, but it's just funny that they brought it up. Also, what happens to my codices? They say all your current codices still work. So it's not a crazy fundamental change like 7th to 8th edition where they had to drop everything from 7th. 8th edition stuff still works in this new edition, which is good to know. And they did state that each of the factions will be revisited in turn with codices. When factions get revisited in a new edition, that means typically there is something new to come along with the Codex release. If there is no new unit, which is rare to happen, but it does, there could be a new model or a new kit for a unit that was aging and needs to be redone. But this is most often the time we will find, in the traditional sense, a redo of kits or brand new units for a Codex. Now, with 8th edition, we have seen them do stuff throughout Psychic Awakening without the need to redo a Codex. But I think in terms of really overhauling a force, if this is going to be the year of the Necron, then it's probably going to happen alongside their Codex being released for 9th edition, more than likely, and having them released either leading up to that or following that. So stuff like that tends to happen with new editions. So if you're wondering, will X, Y, or Z force get something new, get something revisited, or get a kit redone, Now is, well, not now, but 9th edition will be the time to see if it happens, because that's most often when it happens is in a new edition, if it hasn't happened for you already. So that would be cool to see. I do like all that. So with that said, new edition, a new system called Crusade in the edition and everything will be cool to read about. They do say that the basic rules and whatnot are going to be free to download and learn, so that'll be cool too. But new edition, new Primaris. We have Assault Intercessors. Basically, it's the Intercessor Assault Squad version of it, which would be pretty cool. This is more directly knocking on the door of some stuff established from the Astartes, but still, like I said, let's not panic and worry about it. The ship has sailed to be surprised and blindsided by such a thing, right? We knew this was coming in the back of our minds, but all of your standard Astartes stuff is still usable in 9th edition, no problem, and will be there in the Codex more than likely, by what they stated. I mean, I say more than likely as a joke, it'll be there in the Codex, but yes, Assault Intercessor Primaris. I like the one model they've shown for us of that thus far. The reason I like seeing more Primaris stuff, as much as that makes people freak out and get worried that they're losing all the non-Primaris stuff, is I like to see a buildup of bits that are Primaris bits that work with Primaris kits. And I'm hoping that the Primaris kits will stay modular enough. Unlike standard Astartes kits, outside of things like Stern Guard with or Dark Angel Rogue Veterans, it's typically the torso and the legs are typically separate. With Primaris, it's not the case that I've seen thus far in all their kits. So it falls to arms and heads and stuff like that to really kind of help you personalize your force in some way. So semi-modular would mean if they're doing the same concept of torso and legs together, which is unfortunate, but it seems like they'll still be doing that. We don't know, though. I'm hoping that, for example, you could take the body section of these Assault Intercessors, throw Hellblaster arms on them, and now you have a charging forward Hellblaster just to make your force stand out and feel a little different. Do that kit bashing situation. That would be pretty cool. So that plus helmet changes and other weapon options interchangeable with Primaris stuff. You could build your own captain or whatever else. So I'm really hoping to see a bit more of a semi-modular nature for the Primaris stuff. And there's another model that they showcase on the 40K website when you go to the Space Marine faction and you click on them, and that's a Primaris with a Storm Shield and a cool looking pistol. Again, I'm hoping whatever is detachable from the body or is in the sprue is not directly attached to the body. I'm hoping it's easily enough usable by other Primaris bodies and bits and whatnot so you can kit bash Primaris and have it feel a bit more your own as well. Primaris just need more weapon options. The more we get, the better off I think they'll be, and the happier I know I'll be in terms of kit bashing Primaris. But anyways, yes, Assault Intercessors. More importantly, though, as much as I like seeing Space Marine stuff, I love seeing Necron stuff because Necrons need an overhaul, and it looks like my hopes that I mentioned in the Silent King Ramble is happening. New Necron Warrior kit. Firstly, rest in peace, green plastic tubes. I know why you're gone, but I will miss you. It makes it easier to do different color Necron energy when you don't have to worry about a plastic tube like that. Although, if you really wanted to, it does look like you could clip the weapon up a little bit and put a green plastic tube in its place. Because, why not? So, that's cool. But this Necron Warrior kit does look cool. I said cool a lot there. Firstly, talking specifically, it looks like I don't know specifically just the Necron Warrior kit. According to the little video reveal, it's just the new Necron Warrior. What's cool is it's got another cool use there. We're up to 17 now. But anyways, it looks like the Necron Warriors are gonna get a weapon option upgrade, which I don't recall them ever really having. So that's nice. And you can build them in different stages of damage because they are living metal, undead, robotic, alien, skeletal, legion stuff. So, pretty sweet. I am looking forward to seeing the different bit options that will be in there and what extra armor or head bits we have or even leg bits to make them look damaged and feel damaged. which you could do yourself with a hybrid app and stuff, but it's just cool to have the extra options here for you right out the gate without having to feel like you're butchering and messing up your own models. I'm sure there's going to be I shouldn't say I'm sure, I'm pretty confident they're going to have enough bits to make them all look pristine if you want, but then have a decent amount of extra bits to really add that damage touch, if you wish, to your force as well. I also find it interesting they're showcasing them in this kind of bronze, brassy, metallic color, not the traditional silver. The potential Silent King model that they also revealed in the same posting. They don't call it out by name, but he is the breaker of gods. To me, is a pretty big giveaway. First off, the way they painted up the stuff on there looks awesome, and he also is in this brass, bronzy color. So if he is indeed the Silent King, I have to imagine that we're probably looking at the Necron faction more mimicking, or at least his particular legion force of Necrons are of that color. It's a cool color. I wouldn't mind messing with it with other Dynasty colors on top of it. So it is pretty sweet there. He's on something pretty impressive as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing a clearer picture of what he's got going on. But yes, if this is the year of the Necron, then this Necron Warrior kit is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm hoping we'll see... well, of course we're going to see at least 2 new units, because the Necron faction showcases a big monstrous looking thing that we see in the trailer. We see 2 Necron units that are 3-legged. One's really big with a whole bunch of weaponry, and one's smaller with a melee weapon trying to chase down that sister battle. Both of those are brand new. So we're going to get those, and I'm hoping perhaps we'll see a redo for the Destroyer kits. Not that they don't look good. They look great. I love the way Destroyers look, but making them crisper, perhaps making it in such a way that one kit can build a Destroyer or a Heavy Destroyer, and perhaps even build something else entirely. A whole new unit as well. But it's going to be a good year for the Necrons, and being somebody who's a fan of Necrons or wants to put together a small Medford Dynasty force, I'm definitely going to look forward to seeing what comes out for them in the future. Having said all of that, the new website is suitably good looking and seems to be well done. I am looking forward to seeing how they add to it, when they add new factions and what other stuff they might add to this website. I don't want to say the challenge, but the issue with this type of site is, especially when you have a Warhammer community site like they do, is how to make it relevant and pertinent for people who've been part of the hobby, right? So the game-specific info site, which this Warhammer 40k site is great to learn and get up to speed. But then after that, you're just checking out Warhammer community and GW's online store, which is the GW site. And that's pretty much it. So I don't know if they are going to exactly add articles and stuff and keep the site fresh, but it seems like at the very least it's going to be more hub-like, with links to the storefront, of course, as it had in this older 40k site. Potentially also links to the Black Library, links to video game sites or information pages, and links to animated series stuff that's coming as well. It looks like they're going to be more hub oriented here on this site, which is also pretty cool. So yeah, looking forward to the Necron stuff, looking forward to Space Marine stuff. I do have my DIY Primaris Space Marine Force I'm going to do a test scheme of soon in orange, see how it looks. That I'm hoping it looks well. So looking forward to all that. System Battler, an interesting third choice. They're definitely not going to get any models redone, right? Because they just got a fantastic looking brand new plastic range. But they may get the addition of a new unit, maybe a new model, like another KNS model or something to add some variation. We'll have to wait and see. But other than that, there's only 3 factions on the website right now. Of course, there'll be more as we get closer to release date, I'm assuming. Semi-refreshing that it's not Chaos, as I'm guessing going to be in the starter pack or starter box set. We'll have to wait and see, though. It's probably going to be Necron versus Sisters and Space Marines or whatever it is. It should be interesting nonetheless. So yeah, what do you think on the new edition, and what does it mean for new codices? What other factions do you think may get something new? We know Mechanicum's getting new stuff. Whether or not the Mechanicum get that stuff prior to ninth edition remains to be seen. I'm thinking if the Mechanicum stuff does not come out prior to ninth edition, we're not going to see it come out until they get their ninth edition codex. So, again, it's kind of all up in the air. They say a few weeks. I can't believe that's going to be a few weeks until ninth edition. It probably means a few weeks until we hear a release date of probably half a year from then or something. I don't know. I could be mistaken. They could be hitting it pretty hard and fast. We'll have to wait and see. Outside of that, not too much else to touch base on. Sure, the 40k series of novels and stuff that's going to be coming should be interesting, but that's to each their own when it comes to that. I'm just really intrigued by the potential Silent King model. I'm assuming it's a Silent King's Zarek. It seems too grandiose and epic to not be. I'm also interested in, of course, more Intercessor stuff and just Necrons getting an overhaul. They deserve it. So what other Force Codex-wise do you think will get an overhaul? I would like to see perhaps something done to the Blood Angels. At the very least, what I want to see them is finally cutting ties with Taicho. Yes, I get it. But he's been dead. He's been dead before Primaris ever were a thing. You should not be able to have him in a force leading Primaris. He's dead. And most other dead characters are gone from the Codex. Not their Codex, just in general from the Codex. Most. So he's been dead for a while now. I would love to see his, another character that is virtually the same Wargear wise, so you don't have to feel like you got a wasted model now, but just a different name. Just to kind of show moving on. Because we're moving on, right? We're moving forward in the timeline, yet we still have something back from like the Third Armageddon War when he dies or whatever in a codex. It just seems a bit odd. I don't know what they would add to the Blood Angels Force, though. For Dark Angels, when they get a codex, I assume we're going to see what it means to have Primaris, Deathwing, and Ravenwing now with actual units that are going to be colored up accordingly. There is supposedly some imagery that I did see one that a buddy showed me of Primaris bikes, so who knows? There might be a case for that to come in the future. Anyways, not gonna bark up that tree in this ramble right now. But yeah, loads of fun to be had in the future. A lot of interesting stuff to be coming our way. Ninth edition, or whatever they're gonna call it, codices will be happening for this new edition, which means the chance for some overhaul, like the Necrons are definitely going to get. They've said it multiple times, and perhaps other forces as well. I don't know who, I don't know what, but it should definitely be cool to see. So, what are your thoughts? What would you like to see from the Necrons happen? Would you like to see the Destroyers get redone completely? I think they look great. I would just like a new kit to be that much crisper, cleaner, neater, and maybe let them build a whole new unit from it as well. And then, what other force do you think should get an overhaul come 9th edition? Anyways, thanks very much for tuning in. Of course, share your thoughts. Thanks for listening to mine. And until next time, take it easy.